To get it up, you have to run a 3-yard pattern anyway.
Nate Kading trying to obliterate the nightmare of last year when he missed a field goal that would have won the Jets game in overtime in the playoffs. Hasn't missed this year, and he's now 6 for 6, as that one is good from 34. So the Chargers got some breaks on that drive, some calls that went their way. They get 3, and it's a 4-point lead for Pittsburgh.
On the throw on first down. Under pressure, hit the ball close. San Francisco has a touchdown. Corey Smith. It is now.
Favre to Ferguson and has it taken away. Ferguson has it taken away by Ken Lucas, the ex-Seahawk. He looks to lateral, holds on to the ball.
Shift again. Lost the ball. San Francisco's got it. Derek Johnson, the rookie.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
This will be the second defensive touchdown. Travis Hall knocked it away. Derek Johnson goes 79.
Hope you're enjoying ESPN's presentation of Monday Night Football from the beautiful city of San Diego, California, where the Chargers are playing host to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers have looked tough today as they try to run their record to 3-1. San Diego looking to get to 3-2. Let's get back out to Al Michaels and John Madden at Qualcomm Stadium.
The home of the Padres. They, of course, have moved downtown to Petco Park. Lost in the playoffs. And 3 to the Cardinals. Coakley. And Coakley gets taken down at the 16-yard line by Clinton Hart. Had a heart-to-heart talk with him.
Since the early 50s, racers had been looking for a car fast enough and a driver brave and skilled enough to break the 150-mile-an-hour barrier at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. On pole day 1962, Parnelli Jones would thrill the crowd with a track record 150.370 four-lap qualifying speed. Parnelli would finish 7th after starting from the pole, but would go on to claim his only Indianapolis 500 win the following year.
Next Monday night, the Indianapolis Colts undefeated 5-0 against the St. Louis Rams from Indy. Texans Seahawks is your fare on Sunday night on ESPN. Now Pittsburgh begins this drive from the 15, up by 4. Early third. Parker almost got stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Merriman was right there to break the play up.
Yeah, they talk about Sean Merriman and how strong he is and how powerful he is, but he looked like he was shot out of something on that one. Look at how quickly he gets in the backfield. Not only how quickly, but how deep he gets in the backfield. That is penetration. When you get anyone that deep in your backfield, you don't have a chance to run with the ball.
And he didn't. 12th overall pick, as we said before, youngest player in the league. 21 in about 5 months. Roethlisberger moving out, buys time, swings it, and that is caught along the sideline by Hines Ward. Kept his feet in. You've got another flag down here.
And that was one of those deals where Roethlisberger was kind of, I don't know if it was contact or not, but was kind of forced to move out and buy more time. Jamal Williams really got to push up the middle on him, and he had to get out of there.
Illegal contact. Number 29 of the defense. That penalty is declined. Correction.
Boy, this guy's something, isn't he?
Oh, boy. right from the start.
Watch the pressure that he gets straight up the middle. Jamal Williams just breaks a double team. In fact, it turns out into a triple team, and then he's able to come to the outside, buy more time, and then find Hines Ward out here.
Still waiting on the correction.
Pittsburgh has accepted a penalty for the illegal contact on number 29 of the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down at the previous spot.
So let me get this straight. The play gains more yardage, but they take the automatic first down. All right.
Well, he didn't have a first down, did he?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. It would have been 3rd and 1.
Right.
Or 1st and 10.
And that's what he traded. Right. He traded 3rd down for first down.
At the 15-yard line. We'll start again. And this is Willie Parker taking it up to the 18-yard line.
And Willie Parker's only had 7 rushes for 24 yards up until that run there. So he's been kind of quiet. And we know Jerome Bettis, he played in there a little and caught that screen, made the touchdown down there in the goal line. But Parker really hasn't had much running room tonight.
Parker 9 carries for 23 yards. It's about 2.5.
Both these defenses have been tough on runners.
Yeah, Tomlinson tonight, 9 carries, only 28 yards. And that's batted in the air and incomplete. And that's Merriman. His coming out party tonight, the rookie out of Maryland.
I was just thinking that same thing, that this is his coming out party, because he hasn't been playing much before. Here he is at the end of the line, and you just see him get that push, and when the guy stops and goes to throw, just get up in the air, stop your rush, and jump. Sean Merriman does it. He gets a rush, he sees it's throwing, he jumps up and bats it down, or bats it up.
Another bonus from, as we said before, the Eli Manning deal, because that pick was the Giants' first-round draft choice, which went to San Diego.
And he finally looks like the guy the Chargers thought they were getting.
And on 3rd down and 6, it is short of the first down as Heath Miller gets stopped. Terrence Keel is there. And they're forced to punt.
And now you look at that decision and say, if they had 3rd and 1, they should have taken the 3rd and 1 because they had a lot better field position. In fact, I think Hines Ward caught the ball in front of the original or the line of scrimmage right now.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a very curious call. It's an interesting call when you think about it. Do you want a 3rd and 1 at your own 24-yard line or 1st and 10 at your own 15?
If Jerome Bettis had been around for a couple weeks and had been playing, I would feel comfortable with 3rd and 1 if I were the Steelers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Here's Gardaki's punt. Sproles, almost muffed it. 38-yard line, trying to turn the corner. Runs along the entire picket line and finally gets taken down as he crosses the 40-yard line. And Keisel makes the tackle. 38-yard punt, 3-yard return. 4-point game. 6:47 left in the 3rd.
Can you be a poker player and not have a nickname?
They call me the Quiet Lion.
Kamikaze Korea, baby.
It's awesome, man. Greg Raymer.
I love the colorfulness, the different characters it creates.
Crazy Who's the professor of poker.
MDC.
There's like 27 Steves and 80 Pete's.
It's easier to remember a nickname than it is to remember the guy's real name. It's Miami John instead of John Cernuto.
Geography has always been a popular source for finding a nickname.
Amarillo Slim.
Texas Dolly.
Crazy Canuck.
The Flying Dutchman. Give me your money, damn it!
At the poker table, you may find yourself next to a master.
You sit next to a man, the master.
I move furniture, man, for a living. Now I'm sitting next to you.
My nickname is Mike's Mouth.
God shall give it, and God shall take it away.
My nickname is Wookie.
Here's another update on that American League Division Series. They are in the top of the 8th. The Yankees batting with 2 out, still trailing the Angels 5-3.
Now your primetime fare is Monday Night Football with Pittsburgh up by 4. And San Diego starting from the 41-yard line as Breeze drops back and throws underneath. Tomlinson for a gain of a couple. Here's Sam.
Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson, both in their 5th season with the Chargers. They go back further than that, though. Both played high.
And the rest, as they say, is history in the making. That's incomplete, intended for Antonio Gates. Of course, the Brees story, you got to go back to Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning, they draft Manning, even though the Manning family said we don't want to play here. They wind up making the trade. Rivers figures to be the guy, and all of a sudden, Drew Brees has a phenomenal season.
Well, you know, 2 years before, Drew Brees had a very good year, and then the year they drafted Rivers, he didn't have a good year. But he said he never lost his confidence. We were talking to him the other day, and he said, you know, they bring in Phillip Rivers, they have that Eli Manning thing. He said, I always thought that I was a starting quarterback. He said, I never wavered or thought any differently.
So Rivers on the sideline, 3rd down and 7. And that pass is a wobbler, but it winds up in the hands of Eric Parker for a 1st down into Pittsburgh territory at the 38-yard line. Threw it over Willie Williams and Joey Porter.
And we were talking about this defense, and every time they get in a passing situation, the Steelers go to a dime defense. That's 6 defensive backs, and they come into blitz, and he just gets the ball out there to Eric Parker. You know, he knows that they're doing stuff to Antonio Gates. They're doubling him all the time. They're taking him away. They're taking LaDainian Tomlinson away. You have to get the ball to Eric Parker and Keenan McCardell.
Number 38, under pressure, almost lost the ball. Then winds up hitting Gates. And you talk about turning nothing into a big something. James Harrison almost ended the play in the backfield, and the next thing you know, they're down to the 18-yard line.
They went maximum protection here, and this is why it just shows that you have to stay with a play. First of all, James Harrison is going to come in, and right there he hit Drew Brees just as he's throwing the ball. And watch out here as Gates is going, he almost had his helmet off. He's adjusting his helmet as he's running the pattern. That's what do you call that, multitasking?
Multitasking, and Brees actually had the ball pop out of his hand when Harrison put the rush on. Now Tomlinson gets inside the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
See that little move Tomlinson made at the end? That's where he's so good. You know, that he can run on one lean, and then he has a lower lean. Watch it here. Here he has one lean. He gets that jump cut, and now watch him get down right here. He says what he does is he just throws his shoulder down, and that gets him underneath the tackle, and that's exactly what he did. He just threw that right shoulder down.
Jump cut. That's a perfect way to put it.
I'll tell you, the best jump cutter ever was Barry Sanders. Walter Payton was a good jump cutter.
Yeah. 2nd and 6. And that's a pass intended for Neion. You know, the comparisons are ridiculous, of course, when you don't want to compare people to other people, especially Barry Sanders, but you talk to enough people around the league with a Tomlinson, and they talk about him almost as a little bit of a combination of Sanders and Emmitt Smith with Emmitt's power.
Yeah, and I think even a little of Walter Payton in there. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, those are great backs, some of the greatest backs that ever played. And Tomlinson had an opportunity to meet Barry Sanders recently, and you know, Tomlinson has this whole thing he goes through. He has a biomechanics guy. He has massage. He has all these things. He was asking Barry, do you have that? Barry said, nope. Do you have that? Nope. Do you have that? Nope. Barry just played.
3rd and 6, and that is a pass into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Gates, in the coverage by Willie Williams, the 13th-year corner, a guy who has been inactive until tonight.
Well, they're playing so much 6 defensive backs, and like I said, they're playing Antonio Gates like he's a wide receiver, and that's why you have dime defense in there, and that's why you have corners on him instead of linebackers and or safeties.
32-yard field goal attempt for Kading. Mike Cyphers to hold it. Right down the middle it goes. So Pittsburgh has seen a 14-point lead become a 1-point lead. 14-13, 3:54 left in the third.
The final day of 2006 World Cup qualifying on ESPN is this Wednesday. First up, live from Europe, Group 1 leaders Netherlands look to finish on top against the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. Then later, we stay in Europe with a Group 3 clash between leaders Portugal and Latvia. Plus, we'll wrap up all the other contests and tell you who's in, who's out, and who's on the bubble. The final day of World Cup qualifiers, Wednesday on ESPN.
14-13 Pittsburgh. Steelers coming in off their bye week, a record of 2-1. San Diego started the season 0-2, then knocked off the Giants here, and last week went in and routed New England at Foxborough. And how often does that happen with a tremendous second half? Kading with 2 field goals tonight. This kickoff fielded at the 15 is a short one. And run back by Cedric Wilson up to the 32-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger's first appearance on Monday Night Football. Here's Ben inside out.
The best place to meet women is on the internet. If I could have dinner with one famous person, I'd have to say Oprah, and I'd make her pay for the bill. If I could be an actor, I'd be Brad Pitt. The actress I would most like to do a love scene with would have to be Desperate Housewives' Eva Longoria. Eva Longoria, will you date me? No, I'm just playing.
Well, maybe he should call Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs. I don't keep up on gossip, but Eva was dating Tony Parker at least last year during the NBA season.
You're pretty good.
Yeah. And that is caught at the 50-yard line by Antoine Randall L. for a first down into San Diego territory to the 48, and that's a 28 or a 20-yard gain.
Ben Roethlisberger throws that pattern well, and the Steeler receivers run it well. It's a skinny post. You don't go all the way to the post. It's just you start up and then you go like you're going to the post, which would be towards the goal post, but you just come under control, straighten it up. You see right there? That's the skinny part of it. You start, if you were a regular post, you'd come more across. Skinny post, you cut it off shorter.
From the 48-yard line, the anti-skinny one, Mr. Bettis, to the 46-yard line. Jerome, let's see, he's listed as 5'11", 255. What do you think, John? About right?
I think no. I know big guys, and he's packing a little more than 255. I mean, that may have been last year, but that 3 is stretching away from the 6 a little more than it normally does. There's a lot of pressure on that belt buckle.
Second and 8, Antoine Randall went limping off. And Cedric Wilson is in the game, spelling him at the receiver spot. And whatever he's packing, he can still move it. First down.
And that's the thing that I used to say with players. I don't care what you carry weight-wise as long as you can move it. And that's the thing. I mean, this guy is packing a lot of weight, but watch his feet. I mean, he has great feet, and big guys don't make moves like Jerome Bettis does, and that's what puts him in a category all by himself. A big guy, a great big body. I mean, he's a tailback in a nose tackle's body.
And he got a nice block from Cedric Wilson, who now comes out, and Antoine Randall, who went limping off, comes back into the game. And now Willie Parker is in the game. That's a pretty good change of pace. You got Bettis, and then you come in with Parker.
Well, and Parker is just the opposite. Parker, they're trying to get him to gain weight. They think that he's lost a little, and they'd like him to, because if you're going to be a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to have to pound the ball in there. So you need a little more weight. So they probably want him somewhere between where he is and where Jerome is.
8.5.
I was just going to say, they each have 10 carries tonight.
Figured that Parker would see more of the action, but it hasn't turned out that way. And that is knocked down. Quentin Jammer is right there to break up the play. Randall L. was the intended receiver. A minute and 18 remaining. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, this is an area that if you were the Chargers, you look for Antonio Gates, or if you have a tight end receiver, this is a good area to throw to a tight end receiver. Now the Steelers really don't have that tight end receiver, so they'll use 3 wide receivers in this situation.
All of last season, their tight ends caught a total of 17 passes, about 1 per game. And Roethlisberger gets contacted and dumped. And that's Sean Phillips, number 95. 4th-round draft pick last year. Played with Breeze when he was a freshman at Purdue, and gets the sack.
It was funny. I was talking to Donnie Edwards the other night, and he was telling me that the best pass rusher on their team is Sean Phillips. I said, how about Steve Foley? Because no, he said, I said Sean Phillips. And he makes these kinds of moves all the time. And he's the guy that comes in. He's a backup linebacker, but comes in as a defensive end in pass rush situations.
6-yard sack, and that takes them out of field goal range. They might or might not have attempted a field goal, but now they have no choice here, and they're forced to punt, and it's fair caught by Sproles at the 15-yard line. 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd. You know, Michelle Tafoya is on maternity leave, but she's still working. She's still earning that paycheck. She is our couch reporter. So Michelle wants to know, she's emailed us, what's with all the penalties this week, Coach? We'll get to that in a second. Haircuts look, well, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that very much. And the baby feels like the next Lou Groza. Oh, Michelle.
I talked to her about that, but, she asked me who was the most powerful kicker, and I started thinking Jan Stenerud's in the Hall of Fame. I had George Blandboom. The power had to be like Lou Groza. That's who's inside the kicking.
There's Tomlinson. Yeah, hopefully the baby will not be born with a steel-toed shoe, but I'm sure it feels that way to Michelle.
Or have that look to Lou Groza. Remember, he put his arms out like this, and Lou Groza was an offensive tackle, and an all-pro offensive tackle who was also the kicker. And when he kicked, I mean, he would, Big was like 260 pounds. I mean, a tackle was the size of Jerome Bettis, and he'd bring everything. Boom, that thing would go.
That's our couch reporter. Thank you, Michelle. That's the end of the 3rd period with the score 14-13 Pittsburgh. And Monday Night Football is back after this from our ABC stations.
Like most other sports, the objective of American football is to score more points than your opponent. The most effective way to do this is by scoring touchdowns, which are rewarded with 6 points, the most possible on a single score. This is primarily, but not always, accomplished by the team's offensive unit in 2 ways. First, a running play. The moment the ball breaks the plane of the goal line, which is an imaginary line starting at the goal line and rising to infinity, the touchdown is counted. Unlike rugby, the ball does not physically need to be placed down in the end zone to constitute a score. It simply needs to break the plane of the goal line. The same rules go for a passing play. A player may catch the ball prior to the goal line and proceed to run it in, breaking the plane. The player may also be in the end zone, the 10-yard area beyond the goal line, and then catch the ball. The moment he has possession in the end zone, he has scored a touchdown.
This week, the PGA Tour stops in Las Vegas as the top money leaders tee it up for a $4 million jackpot during the Michelin Championship at Las Vegas. Live first round Thursday on ESPN.
San Diego, Al Michaels with John Madden and Sam Ryan, the 2 coaches, with 15 minutes to go. And Marty Schottenheimer, when he was the head coach at Cleveland, gave Bill Cowher his first coaching job, then took him to Kansas City, and that led to Bill becoming the Pittsburgh head coach in '92. Breeze On the run, hits Parker, gets away from Foot, gets stumped at the 20, and the fourth quarter starts with a penalty. At 16 accepted penalties.
Holding. Number 79 is the offense. That's half the distance to the goal. It's still second down.
Mike Goff, Cowher 14th here in the league, but as intense as ever.
He's calling Larry Foote over there, and I think that he was upset with some of his players because they've been doing a lot of pushing and shoving after the play and those types of things, and he wants everyone to calm down, you know, kind of play tough football, but don't get stupid penalties.
And there have been a few tonight on both sides. 17 total penalties accepted in the game for 180 yards of march-offs. 2nd and 17 from here. Blitz gets it off. Tomlinson, 50, 20, first down. LaDainian Tomlinson tackled from behind by Polamalu. So he avoided the blitz, did Breeze. The pressure up the middle, gets it to Tomlinson. It's a 41-yard gain.
You know, and that's where quarterbacks have to be tough guys. He's only 6 feet tall. He knows that the pressure is coming right at him, but he has to step into it and get rid of it and get it out there to Tomlinson. I mean, that's a tough thing. You know that the pressure's there. You know that the guy's going to hit you, but you can't even look at it. You have to look upfield and find your 21.
And he didn't even look at Farrier. He knew he was coming. Michael Turner now comes in as Tomlinson needs a rest for the moment. Turner, the backup back, fake to him. Breeze hangs in there. Breeze deep downfield. That is incomplete, and here comes the flag. You knew that was coming. Polamalu hitting Antonio Gates.
Hey, Polamalu and Antonio Gates have been going at it all night. I mean, he's been covering him, and Gates has to block Polamalu in the run, and you talk about, you know, playing after and those kinds of things. They've been doing it all night. Bill Cowher saying that he couldn't have caught it anyway.
Saying it was too high. Not a catchable ball is what that sign indicates.
Yeah, they were doubling Gates. They had the linebacker underneath, and Polamalu, the safety, was over the top of Antonio Gates.
And there's a huddle. The officials huddling.
Pass interference. Number 43 of the defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
I think the officials have huddled more than the Chargers tonight.
Yeah, because the Chargers aren't even huddling. But watch this. You see the linebacker's going to run underneath. Polamalu has him up on top, so they kind of have him short and deep. And he just threw his right arm in there just before the ball got there.
At the 32 on 1st and 10. Tomlinson short side of the field. Minimal gain.
You know, we talked about the Steeler defense and how strong they are in the inside. And there's no running in there, so you could see that what they're trying to do is get Tomlinson the ball in the pass, you know, get him out on a swing, and then when he does run, instead of running straight up the middle, get off to the edges a little. But there's not a lot of running room there either.
No. 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard pickup. Tomlinson 12 carries, 35 yards. They're holding him under 3 yards per tote. Fake draw, pressure from Farrier again. And this time Harrison is there to wrap up Tomlinson at the 31-yard line.
You know, James Harrison is playing for Clark Haggans tonight, and he's playing very well. I mean, he's a guy that made that interception and jumped over, and he's been putting pressure on Drew Brees. And that time, that was good coverage because they came on a blitz, and someone had to stay with Tomlinson on a check down, and he was right there with him.
There's Clark Haggans.
Haggans had just had surgery this past week, and they say he'll be out for 3 or 4 weeks. But as I said, James Harrison is playing very, very well tonight in his stead.
Groin surgery. And now you've got a timeout call by San Diego with the play clock ticking down. 12:24 remaining in regulation. Pittsburgh by 1.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard won an unprecedented 5 world titles in 5 weight classes starting in 1979. His charisma held as much weight as his feared right hand.
There is no greater feeling than to be center stage and all eyes are on you.
He had that contagious smile that when he smiled, you love the guy.
He was the articulate boxer, and Ali was not going to last forever. And Sugar Ray Leonard just moved in like it was a tag team match.
Ali had kind of a flair, kind of had a charisma, kind of had that entertainment aspect, and I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be special.
He was a crossover star. He transcended the sport and was celebrated as an entertainer would be. And in many ways, that's what he was.
This week, the PGA Tour stops in Las Vegas as the top money leaders tee it up for a $4 million jackpot during the Michelin Championship at Las Vegas. Live first round Thursday on ESPN. The X Games on ESPN. Athletes redefining their sport.
Unbelievable!
When does athletic skill transcend the sport?
And he's got it over the height! Man, that was huge!
When does a trick become a miracle?
Are you kidding me?
Don't miss a special encore of X Games 11. Thursday, only on ESPN.
Well, it is the final. The Los Angeles Angels defeat the New York Yankees 5-3 in the decisive Game 5 of the American League Division Series. And the Angels move on to the American League Championship Series to take on the White Sox. That'll be tomorrow here on ESPN. Now back about 80 miles south of San Diego for Monday Night Football.
9 for the Chargers, who at one point led 14-0, now trailing 14-13, and Breeze throws to Parker, and that's a great tackle to save a first down by Ike Taylor and force Schottenheimer into a decision here as to whether to go for about a 40-yard field goal or 4th and inches.
I would think that he has to go for the field goal here, but that was a good play. You know, Drew Brees likes to go to Eric Parker on 3rd down, and the Steelers blitzed, and Parker ran across or right in behind the blitz, and he just left it about 2 yards short.
Nate Kading, this will be a 41-yard attempt. Mike Cyphers will hold. They'll put it down at the 31-yard line to give San Diego the lead. And Kading with a perfect season to this point. And Pittsburgh had a 14-0 lead in the second quarter, but San Diego has come back with 16 straight points on a touchdown and 3 Kading field goals, and are up by 2. And if you pick this up late time, a little recap for you. Roethlisberger rushed for a touchdown. Jerome Bettising, his first action of the season. He scored as well. Drew Brees, after a very slow start, got hot at the end of the first half, as did Gates, who scores a touchdown. LaDainian Tomlinson has been held pretty much in check on the ground, but he had one big pass play for 41 yards to help set up a field goal. It's been equal opportunity law enforcement tonight. Pittsburgh's been penalized 9 times for 99 yards. San Diego 9 times for 100 yards. And we put up a graphic earlier and said nobody can put the kibosh or the kibosh on things like we can. Talking about Cowher and his phenomenal record when he leads by more than 10 points at any point in the game. And that's in jeopardy now.
Right, and that whole penalty thing is a surprise, because I don't get the feeling that this is a real sloppy game or a game that deserves that many penalties. And I don't think that either one of these coaches are that way either. I mean, these are 2 of the best coaches in football.
The officials threw a flag on the opening kickoff and haven't stopped all night. Quincy Morgan fields the kick at the 1-yard line. And Morgan puts Pittsburgh in nice position with a run back up to the 38-yard line. So Cowher, we mentioned this earlier if you weren't with us, when he has a more than 10-point lead at any point in the game, any point, 92 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Best in NFL history among the 70 coaches who've had 40 or more leads. And that's, and of course, as we said before, we were in Dallas a few weeks ago, put up the graphic about Parcells being perfect in the 4th quarter and leading by 10 or more. Bingo, Washington wins the game.
That's the old kibosh, huh?
It's the old kibosh. Bettis is the running back. Roethlisberger And that is caught by Hines Ward. And Ward down the sideline for a gain all the way to the 26-yard line. Quentin Jammer finally knocks him down at that point. 37 yards on the pass play.
That's a great pattern. What you have is you have a guy short, you overload a side. And you see they start off with 3 guys here, then they're going to have a short, then they're going to have a medium and a deep. When the defense goes off with the deep, then the medium, in this case Hines Ward, is wide open.
They ruled him out of the 29 to make it a 33-yard gain at the 28-yard line. Roethlisberger slings it to the outside, and that's Ward again. So Ward to the right, Ward to the left, and Ward for a couple of first downs.
Isn't that something? 2 weeks ago, Hines Ward pulls a hamstring. They put a bandage on it on the outside, and he runs and scores a touchdown in the game after he pulls a hamstring. Then they have a bye week. He takes a week off, comes out this week, twinges it again or tweaks it or whatever that word is on Wednesday. Here's that tape job that he's wearing just to keep the whole thing tight, and he plays like this.
Now he gets a blow on 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Cedric Wilson is the man in motion. Roethlisberger is protected well, and just like that, a touchdown. Pete Miller, the tight end, their #1 draft choice out of Virginia, and a team that doesn't use the tight end very often decides in the draft to make their #1